trying to hold me back. Something's trying to make me change. But can't think of nobody make me change. Ain't nothing like nobody ever hold me back. God got my back high, so take that. God got my back high, so step back. God got my back high, so get back. You better get back, get back. If you want to take another shit to the person, we can close on your ass just to mention the potent. If you check and see all my stuff's order for me, I'm just trying to plain and simply get y'all to see. It takes space, some concentration to stay focused. Some wisdom and knowledge to fight hocus pocus. If you ask me thus far, just what he's done for me, he kept me with the right mind, that's why I can see. He made me have my hands up for me, rejoice. He's my boss, he's seen all my stuff, he's rushing to see. All the things we know, blessing the drama, blessing the this is so much to be going down. We're shaking it up for right. You do blow, you better play. If you need to play, you need to choose up and you must get right. Something's trying to hold me back. Something's trying to make me change. But can't think of nobody make me change. Ain't nothing like nobody ever hold me back.
She's So Funny on Sirius XM. The funniest female comedians, hand-curated just for you.
Everybody loving women in this house.
Check out Channel 109 this week for the She's So Funny pop-up channel.
These are all comedians that are amazing and hilarious and that you should definitely know.
You love us.
She's so funny.
The She's So Funny pop-up channel, Sirius XM 109. And anytime on the SXM app.
What the hell is this? Is this a joke?
On now.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal, where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM, and your music stays with you wherever you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
Exclusive Sirius XM show.
The name of the show is Straight from the Heart, featuring me and the Plastic Cup Boys.
Hear the latest from Kevin Hart on his exclusive Sirius XM show.
We're talking about putting in work, talking about your ladies and the expectations that they may have. Wait a second, man.
Straight from the Heart. Straight from the Heart with Kevin Hart. To hear Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Discover stories told through thematic sets of classic rock's rare cuts. I'm Jim Ladd, picking songs for you on Deep Tracks from my California studio. To hear Deep Tracks, just activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up now.
Your life.
This is Dr. Laura. If you want some no-nonsense advice, call me.
Your future.
Dave Ramsey here will give you the proven strategies for your life, your money,
your point of view.
It's me, Megan Kelly. Smart, in-depth, fun, sometimes provocative conversations on this show. I'm not going to hold back.
Plus, inspiring views with Glenn Beck and daily bombshells on crime stories with Nancy Grace. To hear SiriusXM Triumph, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do. Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Welcome to paradise.
From pop to grunge and hip-hop to R&B. Tap into the 90s summer anthems mix now in the SXM app.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
And chillax with the decade's biggest hits all summer long on SiriusXM 90s on 9.
Football is back with week 1 of the preseason.
It's exciting just to be back with the Florida crowd.
Don't miss a snap, including your team's pre- and post-game shows on the SXM app. And SiriusXM NFL Radio's training camp tour gets you ready for the season with previews of all 32 teams.
I feel strong about who we are. I like the things that we've done. I think if we gel and come together as a football team, we can be right back where we need to be.
Just search for your favorite team on the SXM app.
Rondo the Borges, bonjour. Vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you too. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Quiet, please. I'm trying to bring the neighborhood together. I think at 12 o'clock, people are supposed to get together and break bread. But somebody didn't tell me it was 12 noon. I was doing it at 12 midnight. So I beg your pardon. Give that some praise for begging your pardon. You can follow Big C Sports on the beautiful August the 2nd, 2023 on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things you want to chase around. You can find us on Gio Savon Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hub Hopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Beatpot Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Good Pods, Podcast in Public. And I'm telling you, there's something that I learned a long time ago. Be careful of the robots called artificial intelligence. Allfeeds.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are taking over. But I have a solution. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. You remember in the movie Ghostbusters, they had some guys come in and spray some liquid slime on the ghost. Well, I have something that's better than liquid slime. It's called turn off the lights, ding, and light a candle. You see, I'm in a romantic mood, yeah. I said, turn off the lights, ding, and come to me. And you tell the artificial intelligence, you see, there's something I want to do to you, baby. Turn them off. And if you turn on Teddy Pendergrass, if it says turn off the lights, you know it also turns off artificial intelligence. If you say it with a forceful voice like Teddy Pendergrass, if that makes sense to you, I really do appreciate having that in my library, if that makes sense to you. #1, Big C Sports is unlike any sports podcast in the universe. Everybody says they're different, but I'm a little bit different, I think, because I do my singing at nighttime outside. But now I got to realize that we're supposed to bring the neighborhood together in the daytime. So I'm making part. I want to say I produce the show. That's #1. #2, I direct all the topics. #3, I broadcast all the shows. #4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives, especially my neighbors that don't like me singing out loud at midnight, if that makes sense to you. And then I'm telling you, the sound effects are done by the platform provided by the agency. The commercials are done. My show is unlike any other sports podcast. I do all of my commercials, the pre-roll before the show, and I don't do a mid-roll like a lot of shows do. They'll do an hour show. You'll have 5 or 6 commercials in between. My commercials are all done up front. There's no other sports podcaster in the universe does it that way. At the same time, I do the storytelling. I do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. They count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. Love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about some NFL football and reparations. I'm asking the NFL for the 2023 season. Every time that someone scores a touchdown, don't sing whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Don't sing BC song. Whoop, there it is. I want to scratch that. What I want to do next time someone scores a touchdown in the NFL, up to the line of scrimmage, goal line front, the pitch goes out to Saquon Barkley, running left, he's into the end zone for the touchdown! Touchdown, New York Giants! Reparations now, reparations forever! Touchdown, New York Giants! Reparations now, reparations forever! Imagine that stadium, all 80,000 people going, reparations now, reparations forever! And you heard that first on Big C Sports. That's what I'm asking the NFL to do this year, because it's real. At the same time, the show's uploaded to 27 multiple podcast platforms all over the universe, out of New York City, and I'm here in Dimdare Hills, California, if that makes sense to you. Number 10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the day at Salem Media, and I love the fact that things go on and people jump ship and do what they got to do. Nothing wrong with that, but God has blessed my show, and I want to say thank you, God, for that, because not everybody has a show. As I say, I get calls almost daily since the mothership laid off some people that want to do some talking on Big C Sports Podcast, and maybe I will. It just depends. It has to be something that fits my. It has to be something that really. It can't be just come on and tell me how big, strong, and fast somebody is. I don't want to do that kind of show. I see it a lot, and there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody likes. Maybe I shouldn't say it too loud for my doctor. I like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. I also like mocha almond fudge. And then I even do something I should not do. I mix them together. I mix them together because I heard Michael Jackson sing Ebony, Ivory, listen in perfect harmony. Ebony, Ivory, living in perfect harmony. If Ebony and Ivory can live in perfect harmony, why not chocolate chip cookie dough and mocha almond fudge ice cream? I'm telling you, it makes me dance in my belly. All fair level war. I really do want to say everybody has their own flavor. I want to make sure that we have the Veterans Crisis Hotline. I love saying that PSA. They will do whatever they can to help people get help. And you can just go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net or 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. You can contact with Big C Sports to find out more about that. But I want to tell you, everybody has their own thoughts about how to do something in life. It is amazing how there are times when people say, man, that program, that platform is not going to work. And then I got good old boys that are playing professional sports, calling one beautiful, intelligent black man, saying, man, I would love to be on your show. And that to me is a compliment. I appreciate it very much. But to me, sometimes I feel like the way I was raised, go get your own show. And it's not a bad thing to say to people. And there are times when people say, man, you don't want other guys to come on your show? It's not that. It's just I've gotten a flow of how I want to do things. And when I do bring people on, it can't just be to talk about how many home runs you hit, how many touchdowns you scored, or how fast you win the 40-yard dash, because I want you to say reparations now, reparations forever. And a lot of men, they're not capable of saying what President Abraham Lincoln told us we should apply for. We should all apply for reparations. And I have interviewed athletes when some want to be on the program. They want to talk about their stats, how fast they run the 40, how many yards per carry they average when they played football, or how many points per game they scored when they played basketball, or what was their batting average when they said runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. And I say, There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, you got to tell me what's going to help people that don't play pro sports, that don't hit home runs, that don't score touchdowns, that don't shoot three-point plays. I mean, you got to be multifaceted. And I'm just saying it's me. And proof is in the pudding. My platform is growing. In fact, there are some world-class athletes that are calling Big C Sports saying, hey, C, how you doing, C? Hey, C, I was wondering, man. I was wondering, I was just wondering. I was wondering, man. Man, I was wondering, can I be on your show? And because I know so many people, I don't try to name drop. But I know I've done Olympics in Japan. I've done tennis from Australia, the land down under. I've had people call in from Africa. And, of course, from all over the country, Mexico, Europe. But it doesn't mean anything if you can't do something that will bless other people. Give blessing other people some praise. Give it praise. Because oftentimes we can have a belief that what we do is so important that it's important to everybody else. It's almost like people that want you to put up money to invest in their project, but they don't want to give you any money. If you want me to put some money up in your project, I gotta see a return within about 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, there are programs that can yield a return within a week, especially 2 weeks. And then, depending on who you are, there's some people that say, put up some money, and we're going to help you get your money back in 2 years. Tomorrow's not promised. It's not promised. And I've known people in the investment industry, especially with real estate, there are times people put money in real estate, and the money disappears. Like Cheech and Chong, up in smoke. Just gone, kapoof. Gone. And that's why, in my best English, there, how's that, Mr. Fong? That why, in my best English, that why, when somebody wants you to put up money, ask them to show you how much money they already have in the bank. Ask them for a 1099. Oh, we can't show you our 1099? Why you asking me questions? And they were doing a program on one of the news shows where these people, these seniors, they were being swindled out of all of their money. People had $200,000, $300,000 to their name. And then they met some sweet-talking get-the-dough investor man. And that get-the-dough investor man encouraged those seniors to empty their checking accounts. And all their money was gone. All of it. Now, isn't it best to verify before you invest with somebody or after you invest with somebody? Because no matter what you do, you got to report your earnings to somebody's uncle. I forget the name of that uncle. He's a real mean guy. And he only comes around to kill, steal, and destroy. Okay, maybe that's not what he does, but it may feel like that. Because when Uncle Sam knows you pulling in tens of millions of dollars, don't you know they send you to get an audit? Oh, an audit? They don't audit me! What do you mean they don't audit you? You're telling me that you're making $20 million a year. $20 million a year. And you're saying that Uncle Sam doesn't audit you? Oh, you gotta know how to play the game! There's a lot of men in the penitentiary that said the same thing. You gotta know how to play the game. Until the feds knocked on the door and said, hand behind your back. And I know some people who in real estate that had all the answers. They had all the answers. But the one question that did not change, irrespective of their answer, was get in your bank account and give me your money. And there's nothing wrong with investing. But you'd be a fool to invest with somebody who won't show you what they already have in the books. Oh, I can't show you that. Oftentimes because people don't have that. Just be careful, especially elders. If you lose $200,000, $300,000, you can rarely ever get that money back. And when I saw that program, on one of the news shows. It's one of the oldest books one of the oldest, I won't even say a trick, but the people can prey on your greed to get wealthy. Compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world. It takes time. Rule 72, double your money every 7.5 years. And then there are people who tell you can double your money in 5 days. And maybe you can. But what did Two Live Crew say in the last concert? He said, show me the money! See, I work in real estate. And there are times when people put money into a project to flip a property, and the money's stolen. There's even something called title theft. When you go to buy a house nowadays, because so many people are on the internet and they're wiring money from one account to another, there are people who scam. They will scam the title company. So when you buy $1 million house and you got to put down 20%, that's $200,000. And if you're a scammer, it can be wired into the wrong account. Oh, that's not possible. It is possible. Identity theft is the biggest crime in the United States. People get taken all the time because it's cyber. It's a cyber crime. It's not someone that walks up to your door and give me your money for these encyclopedias, and then you give them $100 for the encyclopedia, and by the time you get inside to open the encyclopedia, it's just empty pages. It's cybercrime now. I was talking to a financial guy today about fiat currency. A lot of people don't know what that is, but fiat currency is not backed by anything. It's not backed by how many goats your Uncle Sam has. It's not backed by how many gold blocks your Uncle Sam has. So just be careful, because if they can turn off your platform that controls your money, a lot of people will be in trouble. And those days are coming, unfortunately. They're going to get rid of cash very soon. I mean, that's what I hear. I can't confirm or deny it, but that's what I hear from some pretty salient people. Be careful when it comes to your money. I want to say 800 Gambler, if you like giving your money, I got a guy call me today and just wanted me to invest some money on the game. And I asked him how much had he invested on the same game? And he said, well, that's not important. I said, well, wait a minute. If you're asking me to invest $500 into the game, you won't tell me how much you've invested in the game? He said, well, I'm a big roller. I invest more than $500. I said, really? I said, so how much money did you make last year? He said, well, that's not relevant. That's irrelevant. I said, wait a minute. If you think I should listen to you, won't you think it's more likely for me to invest with you if you can tell me that you started with $500 and you ended with $500,000? That's a pretty kosher argument, isn't it? And he said, well, what I've done has nothing to do with you. I said, you got to understand, if I'm going to invest my money, I need to know what you've done with your money. And that knucklehead didn't even listen to what I said. He kept saying, well, if you're afraid to play the big boys game, then maybe I'm talking to the wrong person. And I said, click. He called me right back. Hello. It looked like the call dropped. I said, no, the only thing that dropped is my finger on the hang up button, because if you can't tell me how much money you made and screenshot me a copy of your 1099 tax returns, why would I trust you and give you my money? And he said, well, you're not ready. Obviously, you're not ready for the big leagues. I said, be not ready for the big leagues from praise. Sometimes people want to take your money, but when you deal with banking, they always ask you, when you go to the bank, you got to give them your account number and a form of ID, and then they'll give you a copy of what you have in the bank. They don't say, just trust me. They give you a receipt with your numbers on it. Now, how much you feel if you put $1 million in the bank and you went to the bank and you want to draw, say, $700,000 to pay cash on a house? And they say, well, you only have $200,000 in the bank. You say, what? Well, you only have $200,000 in the bank. You say, show me my receipts. And the bank says, we, like the 800 gambling people, we don't keep receipts. How would that make you feel? You don't keep receipts? Banks always keep receipts. Shacksters don't keep receipts. If shacksters not keeping receipts in praise, be careful. When older people get swindled, you work your whole life to have something, and some slip-talking Bubby the Bugger can come by and swindle you out of your money in a matter of minutes. Sometimes it takes days. Be careful, 800 Gambler. if that makes sense to you. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV, Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, reparations now, reparations forever. Give that some praise. We all need reparations. I want to also make sure that I pay homage to sports, and this is why some athletes, when they call about being on the program, and some say, well, I don't want to talk any politics. I said, then why are you calling me? Why are you calling me? Because I want to tell you, I'm about to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, and my fans would like to hear what I got to say about what I did when I played the game. Say, when is your next game, sir? He said, well, I retired. You mean you retired and your life is over at 35? Oh, no, I got some things going on now. What do you have going on now? Oh, some business investments. What kind of investment? Well, some things I can't talk about. Why can't you talk about them? If they're investments and you want people to join you, wouldn't you talk about them? Oh, man, I just want to talk about what I did when I played. What you did when you played is in the past. What did Dr. Martin Luther King say? If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. A lot of our erstwhile athletes, their success has been in the past. What did Janet Jackson say when she performed with Tupac? She said, "What have you done for me lately? Ooh, 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 yeah. Come on, y'all. What have you done for me lately?" And Tupac said, "California love." I mean, that's what I heard he said. I don't know if I was at that concert or not, but maybe I was dreaming about it. If that makes sense to you, I want to thank the Associated Press, J.D. Hart, for an article she did. And this is what I tell athletes that want to be on the Big C Sports podcast. I'm trying to get 1 million people to do the same thing I'm doing. I need 6 billion people in the world to give Big C Sports $1. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And I'm serious about that. If we have 6 billion people just donate $1 to Big C Sports, that's $6 billion. Give that some praise. Because if you would just do it, then I can buy a full tank of gas in Denver Hills. I want to thank the Associated Press, Janie Harr, on March 29, 2023. She called me to talk about reparations. Listen up, athletes. She called a sports show to ask me about reparations. And what I said to her is, sure. She said, so what are your thoughts, Charlton, on reparations? I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And she said, well, I haven't even answered the question yet. I said, I don't care what it is. The answer is reparations. Because the answer is reparations. Now, there are a lot of erstwhile athletes, especially NFL players, their health insurance ends 5 years after they retire. They may love you while you have a uniform on, but most of your health problems may not show up until 5 years after you retire. Most of you will have health issues that show up after you retire. But if you don't have the health care, and they're going to cut you off after 5 years, and if some of your investments have gone bad, like the people doing the whatever currencies out there, they're doing whatever, and a lot of guys end up broke. They don't advertise when they lost all their money. They only advertise when they're getting into it. They don't tell you when you lost all your money. They don't come to help you when you lost all your money. When you can't buy food, they don't tell you. I know this is true talk. I know some professional athletes that couldn't put together $500 if it was to save their lives. I'm talking about guys that played in Super Bowls. May have been 20 years ago. I know of them. I know guys that don't have $500, and they're out there trying to find whatever way they can to put some food on the table. Guys that made over $1 million when they played. Money's gone. Why is that? Because they got swindled. There's some professional athletes that have lost tens of millions of dollars from hucksters that said to a rich guy they're going to make him more rich. And instead of these athletes saying, show me your 1099 or show me a bank statement the same way a bank does when you want to buy a house, They say, show me proof of funds. They don't say, sweet talk me. Show me proof of funds. Oh, well, we can't show you proof of funds. That's personal. If proof of funds is personal, why are you asking me to proof of my funds? Like those ladies that got swindled that were on the news program the other night. The guy was so convincing. He drove a really nice car. He had a really nice suit. He smelled good. He said he had private planes, and he showed pictures when he was in Europe. He showed pictures when he was in Hawaii. He showed these fancy homes that he had. A lot of pastors have fancy homes. A lot of pastors, they have private airplanes. They say they're doing the work for God, but I don't know if Jesus ever had a private airplane. I don't know if Jesus had several mansions. Oh, Jesus is rich! No, Jesus is not walking around in a Rolls Royce or driving one, and he wasn't driving a fancy private jet either. But there's a lot of our clergy people that they will get all the tithe, and they got people starving in their city as they're getting on their private plane to fly around the country or sometime around the world, saying they're doing the Lord's work. You know, there's a book it's in Matthew 25:13-30. It's about the master that gave the disciples some talents. Some disciples were given 5 talents. The other disciple was given 2 talents. And the last disciple was given 1 talent. And when the master came back, that I think is a euphemism for God, came back and asked the person with 1 talent, what did you do with the 1 talent that I gave you? And he said, well, God, it was kind of tough out there in this world. You know, the world's kind of strange now. You know, people kind of ripping people off nowadays. They taking old ladies' bank accounts and siphoning that money. But I did what I could to take what I got from you, and I invested it, and I grew my talent. And the guy said, well, good job. I'm so proud of you. And then God went to the person with the 2 talents, like a lot of our clergy, and said, so what'd you do with the talents that I gave you? And well, God, it was kind of tough out there in them dear hills with people struggling. So we put together some food programs and some housing programs to help feed people and to shelter people. And then I even took a little bit of that money and I invested in a new building so we could educate some young people. And the guy said, okay, well, that's good. I'm proud of you. Good job. And then if you look at some of our, don't get me wrong, but ask yourself this question. Some of our televangelists, our professional athletes, our sports team owners, when God come to them and said, what'd you do with the 5 talents I gave you? Well, God, I got 3 private jets. I have 5 mansions. I have 3 Rolls Royce in each mansion. I travel all over the world spreading the gospel, and I even do crowdfunding for people who are in need. And I got 5 TV programs. I'm on 7 days a week, and I'm always asking for the tithe, because I need another airplane, another mansion. Now, only those pastors can relate to that, because some people will say, oh, man, you don't know what it's like having such responsibility to keep fuel in 3 private jets, to keep the lights on in 7 mansions. But what did God say? You wicked and slothful servant. Isn't that something? So that's why, and if I'm not talking to you, then it don't matter. And I'm talking to me. I was out feeding people today. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. When I'm driving around before I do my show, I take a little nap, I get my show ready, and then I try to find people who are hungry. And I try to give them something. Could I do more? Yes. Could I do less? Yes. But I'm trying to feed people because people look like they're in need. I've never been hungry a day in my life. Sometimes I even eat too much. But it's only because of the grace of God. But for the grace of God, there go I. I've had my ups and downs in life too. I'm not perfect and I'm not chastising anybody. But everybody knows, if you're doing right with the talents you're given. My talent is speaking. So every day when an athlete say, hey, Big C, man, I love your show, man. You something else. I was wondering if I could be on your show. And all I ask them, what do you want to talk about? If it's not about helping other people, then I'm not interested. Oh, you just arrogant. No, I'm not arrogant. Get your own show. Well, I don't have a show. You went through $10 million in 3 years of playing sports, and now you're begging someone to get on the airwaves? You went through $10 million in 3 years of playing NFL football, and you are begging people to let you talk on their program. Use your platform, as I was telling one guy, has a Super Bowl ring. Take your platform, take your bio, start doing your podcast, go out to sponsors that want to go over what you did 20 years ago and see if they'll give you some money. You'd be surprised how many people will give you some money when you're a former professional athlete. But a lot of you guys, you run into Massa, asking Massa if you can be on his program. Get on your own program and give that some praise. No one says it's easy. People make mistakes. I make mistakes too, but I speak with my spirit. I don't need a script. I don't need a script. I speak with my higher self. It doesn't mean everybody likes it. I've been told, man, you suck. I've been told, oh man, you ain't nothing. You suck, man. I've been told that by people that don't even have a job today. You think I listen to them? They don't feed me. I know who feeds me. The Ancient of Days, Yahweh. Call it God. Give that some praise. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. Man, you talk too much about God. Because the devil has kids too. Last thing they want you to know is about God. That's why I say when athletes, when I get on my program, I go right to Genesis. And I mean it. I'm not just sucking and jiving. Because I think it's helped me. I don't ogle over people. I'm not fascinated by how rich or famous somebody is. But I really go, what's helped me a lot, when people say start your own, when I tell people my advice, start your own platform, start your own podcast. I go to Matthew 25:14-30. It's about the talents that God has given us. What talent has God given you that you're going to take to your grave? You're going to take to your grave because you ain't got the guts. So when somebody says to you, why don't you have your own pro? Just tell them you don't have the guts. I don't have the guts! But you beg another man if you can sit on his left pocket. Either lead, follow, get out of the way. But it's insulting when we have so much talent in this country with our black brethren, and I still see many guys that will go to Massa and ask Massa to affirm the action. And that's okay. Do what you got to do. There's nothing wrong with going and asking someone for opportunity. But you have a 9 series DNA, and oftentimes you go around asking someone with a 6 series DNA, can they affirm the action for you? That's like a lion asking a pit bull for courage! Now, people own pit bulls. I grew up with Rottweilers. They would devour a pit bull. But I've never grown up with a lion. I could not imagine a lion asking a pit bull or a Rottweiler for courage! Get your own courage. Because once we start realizing where we come from, Dr. Leakey and Gregor Miller said all life came from Africa, from the womb of a black woman, the 9 series DNA. And oftentimes when our brethren got fired by the mothership before football season, and they're out there asking Massa, can I come on your program? And you got years and years of NFL football, NBA basketball experience. And, you know, I don't know Draymond Green personally, but Draymond Green has been criticized by many people. Oh, he talks too much about his podcast. He should be helping the Warriors win. Warriors! Warriors! Come out and play! But you know what Draymond Green did? And I don't know him personally. Draymond Green saw the end of the tunnel. He saw the light at the end of the tunnel where they say, well, we're going to go in a different direction, and you're not included in that direction. And Draymond Green started working on his podcast. Now, it is what it is. But he started it. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But it's his. Give it being his some praise. I'm not endorsing or condoning anything he's done. I haven't heard his podcast, but I know he has one because I've heard people talk about it. And I would just encourage a lot of our brethren, do the same thing. Get your stuff together. Use the knowledge that you have. It doesn't have to be the best. I do it 5 days a week. I don't quit. I don't stop. And I've never missed a show through some of the most difficult days of my life. But what Big C Sports Podcast is now, it's going to become bigger. Like I'm telling you, you mark my words, Big C Sports will become a household name. Oh, you just talking. It's not talk. I was prophesied over 7 years ago. And I'm just trying to get other young people, quit begging somebody with your head between your tail to affirm the action. You got 9 series DNA. Just try it. Just get busy living. You guys want to sit around and talk about sports all the time and who's bigger, stronger, and faster? How about just do it in front of a microphone? When I first started doing broadcasts, there was a guy by the name of Lewis Johnson. He does the Olympics with NBC with Tom Hammond. And I remember I met him at an Arizona State-Stanford football game. Jake Plummer was the quarterback. I think it was 1996. And I was talking to him as he was just doing the field reporting at that time. And I asked him how he got started. And he said he would watch games and turn down the sound and just do the play-by-play. And he got good at it. And he got good and he got good. And now he does the Olympics all over the world. He does other track and field events. And I met Howard Cosell when I was a young boy. The late, great Howard Cosell. Told Ollie, well, you're quite truckling, aren't you? But I met Howard Cosell. And I've met other great broadcasters over the years that I was very impressed by the way they spoke. And I remember there was a guy by the name of Chris Shingle that I met a long time ago. And just watching these people on television, seeing how they did their thing. I had the pleasure of meeting it was Irv Cross. He was one of the first gentlemen on CBS to do football as a field reporter. And the late Earl Croft played for the Philadelphia Eagles. I remember meeting him. I met many other talented athletes who've gotten onto the world of broadcast that I would just listen to them talk. And oftentimes they say, man, you have a great voice. I've heard that all my life since my grandmother told me that. But I want to encourage other people, especially black men. I was talking to a pastor today, and he said, and this is what I'm telling people, if I do have you on the program, it can't just be what you did in sports. I don't need that. That's like leftovers. We can hear that anywhere. I want to hear what can we do to make life better for everybody. I'm trying to get 1 million black men to start a podcast. 1 million! Because you have the talent inside of you. And that includes women also. Not just men, but women. You can put things out into the universe, oftentimes, because they say it's always expanding, somebody's picking it up. Somebody's hearing the name. Sometimes, if God allows you to hear somebody's voice, it can change the path of your life. It's done it for me. If I could just touch the hem of your garment, if I could just hear the sound of your voice, give that some praise. You never know who's going to be motivated by it. Imagine 1 million black men and women all over the world doing their own show. It can be based on sports. It can be based on politics. It can be based on religion. It can be based on business. Whatever it's based on, let it be your voice. Let it be your voice. Lift every voice and sing. Lift your own voice. I remember watching the great Don Cornelius on Soul Train when I was growing up. And people got together, and he would have them dancing. At the end, he would always say, "Love, I wish you love, peace, and soul." Love, peace, and soul. So whatever it is, that's what I am with Big C Sports. And I really do appreciate some of the compliments that I've gotten from people. I really do. Now, one of them, I don't know if I don't want to be bashful, but he said I reminded him of James Earl Jones, who has a voice like my father. So I don't think my pipes are that distinguished yet. Maybe in time. Maybe when I hit that Mega Millions Lotto for $1.25 billion. Coming up on, I think it's coming up on Friday. Nobody hit the jackpot. $1.25 billion. Nobody's hit it. And I keep saying, God, I said, God, I don't want to make you a liar. I said, Big C Sports has won $1.25 billion on Friday. Now, you guys said, ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. I don't want to make God a liar. I saw there's a promo that says win $5,000, and it's through iHeartRadio on Big C Sports. I gotta check that out. I think it's for people who actually, when you upload the show, you have a chance for the computers to artificial intelligence to find you. They will find you. And so that's how it works, I believe. There's not a link, but you upload the show, and then you have a chance to enter, if that makes sense to you. Everybody knows, as far as life goes, you got to look at some of these NFL football players that are making buku bucks in them their heels. The season's underway. We have a game coming up on Thursday, the Hall of Fame game. But I want to talk about right now some of the top highest paid quarterbacks of 2023 as we talk about reparations. But before I get into that, I'd be remiss if I didn't go over the reparations task force. I'm excited about tonight. I really want some pizza. You ever have pizza? Give pizza some praise. If you have pizza, I have pizza. Yes, I do. I have pizza. How about you? I think that was a cheer that some cheerleaders had when I was a young boy. It's all fair and level word. It's all fair and level word. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because they're doing some great work, and I want to make sure that I'm part of that also with the National Black Wall Street Project. And Jalen Brown had a conversation with his father today, great boxer, about doing some things with Big C Sports. At the same time, I want to make sure that people understand I'm not just trying to talk about sports. I want to know what are our plans to help the diaspora of Black Americans that have been disenfranchised because we have not received the Emancipation Proclamation's promise of 40 acres and a mule. And until we get reparations now, reparations forever, I'm going to champion that cause. California Reparations Task Force had the last meeting, June 29th, 2023. It was at the Secretary of State building in California. I want to just pay homage to the people that are part of the task force, and I met every single one of them. The chairwoman, Camila Moore, brilliant. She's a lawyer. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair, brilliant. The best senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford, brilliant. And Council member Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Dr. Shell Grillis, brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at Cal Berkeley, brilliant. Donald K. Tamaki, brilliant. I want to give them all some praise. Give them praise. I said give them praise. Really do appreciate that. They're doing what they can for legislation to make sure that reparations passes. Now, at the same time, there is an 1,100-page report that provides recommendations for lawmakers. If you don't know that, you can't be on Big C Sports. That's more important than anybody scoring touchdown, home run, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. Because it's going to help our children. That's important. 9 series DNA, we deserve it. We so deserve it. So as I talk about some of the top quarterbacks, highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, it's important that we understand that they too will retire someday, but most of these guys are making so much money, it's not going to matter what happens to them because they'll have $100 million cash. They will. We just heard that Justin Herbert became the youngest quarterback to land a long-term contract, or the latest one to land a long-term contract with the Los Angeles Chargers. But I want to talk about some things with some of these high-earning quarterbacks, because while people are saying it's okay for a quarterback in the NFL to make $52,500,000 a year, and that quarterback says nothing about reparations. Justin Herbert, 49 starts. His record is 25 wins and 24 losses. He has 0 playoff wins and a playoff loss. Now, why am I bringing up his name? Because I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man, and I want to encourage everybody. I want to encourage everyone to really look at the league of 75% black in the NFL. And I know a lot of guys are wealthy, but I want to see how many have the character to even know about President Abraham Lincoln. Because President Abraham Lincoln, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation to give free black Americans 40 acres and a mule for helping the Union win the war over the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. And when I talk to athletes, I want to know if they don't care about that, I don't care about them. That's just my platform. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, $52 million a year, 61 starts, 45 wins, 16 losses, 1 playoff win, 3 playoff losses. I want to get Lamar Jackson's thoughts on reparations because he knows, he understands the 9 series DNA. All that came out of the African continent. According to Dr. Mendel, considered the father of genetics, and Dr. Leakey, considered the father of paleontology. All life came from Africa. That means no matter what color you are, what ethnic group you belong to, if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. The biggest crime the United States has ever been involved in is slavery. It's America's biggest sin. Jesus, I have sinned against you. And how dare our politicians, some of our politicians, the bad ones, the evil ones, they're anti-reparations. But the decent ones, they are pro-reparations. You'll see more and more politicians, yes for reparations, yes you get to vote. The old saying was no reparations, no vote. The new saying is yes to reparations, yes to voting for you, and give you praise. You hear that coming up, that natural. I guarantee it. Jalen touchdown Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles, $51 million a year. He's had 34 starts, 23 wins, 11 losses. Playoffs record, 2 wins and 2 losses, and a Super Bowl. Great player. Could have been MVP last year, but didn't happen. I want to know Jalen Hurts' thoughts on reparations. Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics, if they could just be like him, don't worry about me. If they could just be like him, all we need is one person with some stones the size of a mustard seed, and we can change this world and stop letting the evil people set the narrative. If you're anti-reparations, you're evil. If you're anti-reparations, you're evil. Oh, I don't have time to talk about reparations. Then get out of my face. It's America's biggest crime. And we don't need to keep sitting back letting the evil people set the narrative. We had the Me Too movement. Black men and women, they stood behind the Me Too movement. We stood behind it. Civil rights movement. Black men and women stood behind the civil rights movement. When the doors were open, white women got the managerial jobs. Almost every white woman right now in her job, look around, 90% of the people look just like her in management. It was black people that got hit upside the head on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, shedding their blood like John Lewis. They weren't beating up white ladies, spraying them with water hose, but they made them managers, executive directors. Oh, we don't need no reparations. Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets, $50,300,000. He just had a little bit of pay cut because he used to defer some of that money. Out of California himself. Has 223 career starts, 11 playoff wins, and 10 playoff losses. I wonder what his thoughts are on reparations. Because I want to know these players. Your league is 75% black. And just because you're rich, it doesn't mean your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your brothers and sisters, your nieces, your nephews, it doesn't mean that they're rich. It doesn't mean they got the money. And I know some people say, man, that's not my, I don't even want to talk about politics. I just want to get my money. Because they're selfish. But a lot of these athletes, they end up filing for bankruptcy within 10 years of their retirement because you can't maintain that lifestyle. There's a psychological change you go through when you don't have people cheering you every time you walk into a room or buying you a libation when you walk into a room. You're going to become just another person. I met many athletes when they stopped working out, they lost 50 pounds. They walk with a limp. They need a hip replacement. They had to have shoulder cuff replacement. They don't look big and physical and menacing the way they did when they were in their 20s. Now they look broken. Some of the guys can barely walk. And many don't even have money. And you're not reparations? Many old erstwhile athletes were saying, well, the NFL should do more to have a pension that will help some of our former players when the money wasn't that great. You know what it's called? You want to know what it's called? The pension for older players? Reparations now! Reparations forever! DC Sports been trying to tell you about it, but you're busy shucking and jiving. If we get our most prominent black men and black women, our sports heroes, instead of selling sandwiches on TV, instead of selling cars on TV, or a fancy watch on TV, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying get off my lawn. I'm saying God gave us talents. It's in Matthew 25:13-30. He gave some of us 1 talent. He gave some of us 2 talents. He gave some of us 5 talents. And some of you guys with the most talents, you don't think you need reparations now, but in 20 years you will, because all that money, it may be gone. Because somebody's going to try to give you some investment. Like those ladies that were swindled on television. Well, he was such a handsome man, and he drove a really nice car. And he showed me pictures when he was in Europe. He had pictures from Hawaii. He had all this money. He had boats and aerial planes. He even had a UFO. And he told me if I just give him all my money, he would make me rich. And some of these people did it. It's a shame. What did that good boy say back in the day? I think it was Johnny Cash. He said, you gotta know when to hold on, know when to fold on, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done. That's not Johnny Cash. Well, I thought it was Daddy Cash. Could have been somebody else, Kenny Rogers. But I hope that, and a little bit of levity I'll end the show with. The whole show is levity. I want to have fun, and if you cannot Google what I say, please do not listen to me, because then I'm a fraud. If you can't Google what I say, don't listen to me. If you can't verify that somebody's asking you for $100,000 to make you $1 million, don't invest. I work in banking. You got to show me the money. If you don't show the bank the money, they don't let you buy that property. No matter how fancy you are, no matter how handsome you are, no matter how pretty you look. Just be careful. Russell Wilson, Denver Broncos, $49 million. Had 173 starts. 9 playoff wins, 7 playoff losses. Married to a beautiful woman by the name of Sierra. What's Russell Wilson's thoughts on reparations? It should be reparations now, reparations forever. And quit arguing over athletes who don't give a darn about you and your children, that don't have professional contracts. There are a lot of athletes like Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics. I'm so proud of him wanting to bring the Black Wall Street to Boston, because he wants to create economic opportunities for people who've been disenfranchised. Who doesn't want to create more opportunities for this country? Got to give that some praise. Everybody says they want to make life better for others, but this brother came out and said it. I heard it with my own 2 ears. He wants to bring the Black Wall Street to Boston. You got to give that some praise. What if we had one player on every NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball team that had the stones the side of a merchant seed like Jaylen Brown? Give that some praise. That's all we need. It doesn't take everybody. It just takes a few good men and women to get behind our Congress and our president to say we deserve reparations for descendants of chattel slavery, and God's watching, and we need reparations now. Reparations now. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it, and I believe that with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. I'm telling you, there's a movement happening in this country. People are no longer willing to sit back and just watch stuff happen. Now, I'm not saying everybody. There's still some people who are disenfranchised. They don't pay attention to what's going on. They just want to know, Shorty Holler, where the ball is at. So they can't wait to get to the club and have somebody serve them up a drink. That's okay. Maybe that's how they were raised. But for the lucid people, the people who want to make a difference in life, there are things you do in public, there's things you do in private. Do all that junk in private. In public, let's get some people together and tell that Rosa Parks, tell Dr. King that their efforts were not in vain. Reparations now, reparations forever. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can drink it off, you can walk it off, sleep it off, whatever it is. The life you save, it may just be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, turn off the lights and light a candle. You see, there's something I want to do to you, baby. Hold on, that wasn't Drew Boudini Brown. That was Titty Titty Brown. What he was saying was, all you've got to use, how can you lose? And all of it say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because all these Big C burgers, they make me light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. And I'm always rumbling. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every BC Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. In the words of the great Abraham Lincoln, Google it. He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Say it one more time for President Abraham Lincoln. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it a third time as if your favorite athlete just scored a win, the winning game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.